For the Emperor! Charge! Show them no mercy! Push through!
It's August 1914 in Congress, Poland. Farmers are working at a frantic pace, trying to pull in the summer wheat harvest before the storm breaks. Beneath these clouds, millions of Austro-Hungarian and Russian soldiers are beginning a rapid mobilization directly into the harvest zone. For the people living here, the arrival of these armies means immediate martial law. Imperial forces are sweeping through the villages, aggressively stripping the locals of their draft horses, their grain, and their livelihoods. This terrified harvest is the last gasp of peacetime. The seasonal rhythms have been interrupted by the rigid mechanical schedules of imperial war. The generals directing these millions of men are operating on an outdated doctrine. They expect a campaign decided by swift cavalry charges and massive flanking maneuvers, tactics designed for a different century. Commanders like Austria-Hungary's Konrad von Hotzendorf look at the complex terrain of the Lublin province and see a clean, abstract chessboard. The Austro-Hungarian plan is elegant on paper. They intend to use their superior railway network to rapidly concentrate the Fourth Army, then swing around to strike the exposed flanks of the Russian Fifth Army. The entire operation hinges on perfect timing. The trains must arrive on schedule, and the campaign won before heavy autumn rains arrive. But this mathematical approach to strategy ignores the physical friction and unpredictable nature of the actual battlefield. Between August 26th and 31st, the trap springs. The Austro-Hungarian Tyrolean 14th and 17th Corps execute a massive pincer movement around the town of Komarow. On a map, this looks like a masterclass in military operational art. The Austrian lines compress the Russian center perfectly. Then the troops actually hit the terrain. The wide open fields the planners envisioned are actually dense pine forests, swamps, and deeply broken ground. Command and control evaporates. Scouts lose visual contact. Cavalry units become useless. Communication wires are severed. Blinded by the landscape, opposing regiments stumble into each other at point-blank range. They clash, withdrawn to the pines, regroup, and collide again. The environment strips the high command of their control. The battle fractures into dozens of chaotic, localized bloodbaths over individual tree lines. Into this confusion, infantry formations march upright, directly into the teeth of modern machine gun fire. Soldiers here are pinned down in shallow earthen pits scraped out of the frozen topsoil. These crude earthworks offer zero overhead protection from the incoming fire. Then the artillery opens up. Concentrated bombardments, described by survivors as hurricane fire, turn these shallow defenses into craters of mud and splintered wood. The agricultural harvest of August turns into a mechanical slaughter. Survivors noted in their diaries that the bodies of fallen infantrymen were packed together across the blasted fields like sheaves of wheat. The introduction of new technology only adds to the terror. Early aerial reconnaissance planes fly overhead, only to be shot out of the sky by their own terrified, confused infantry below. The sheer volume of high-explosive artillery and lead raining down on Komarow renders individuals' immense courage completely irrelevant. Look at the dotted lines and arrows on this historical Russian military map. By September 2nd, the battered Russian Fifth Army manages to slip the trap and retreat eastward toward the Bug River. Tactically, Austria-Hungary wins the battle. They secure the ground and prevent the Russians from encircling their forces in Galicia. But the cost is catastrophic. The Austro-Hungarian army loses a massive percentage of its highly trained pre-war professional officers and soldiers, men they cannot replace. With their ranks decimated and their supply lines inflexible, the victors lack the logistical strength to pursue and destroy the retreating Russians. They held the ground, but they permanently shattered the professional core of their own military machine. The final blow arrives from the sky. Autumn rains begin to fall, dissolving the Lublin front into a knee-deep mire of thick, freezing clay. Logistics completely collapse. Heavy supply wagons sink to their axles and stay there. Draft horses simply die of exhaustion trying to pull through the mud. The surviving soldiers are left to freeze in the soot-stained ruins of obliterated civilian villages. The Battle of Komarów ended the prospect of a short campaign. The rigid schedules of August 1914 dissolved into a grueling, industrialized deadlock that would keep these armies trapped in the Polish mud for years.